Right, so this is the second time making this video because, yeah, I need to wrap it up. I don't have much memory on my phone. So there you go. Quick few, couple of informations. Yes, we have the VR5 and VR6 with the DSG or 6-speed manual gearbox in mr2 fitted correctly. I'm going to show you in a minute. But I want to answer one quick question. And I'm going to answer and actually show you the difference between the 1.8 20 valve turbo fitment in the chassis and obviously the VR6, VR5 series engines. And the specific question comes from some people who were concerned about the weight, the increased weight in mr2, and they were handled extremely bad and you couldn't drive them and all the stuff. Well, just please stop the nonsense. There are mr2s with a huge V6 engines in. And these people complain about everything, but definitely not about the weight. It's still a very lightweight car. The benefits you have from switching the engine, they're much greater than, oh, we have a couple of kilograms more. But also, as much as this is true that you do have a couple of kilograms more, there is a secondary thing that you have to think about. It's not just about the weight, but the weight distribution. And the weight distribution is obviously dictated the dictation from the weight distribution comes from the engine position in the chassis. So I'm going to show you quickly the difference. I'm going to use Steve's car because obviously the engine is in a position, and I'm going to show you that car because again, the engine is in a final position. So let's draw an imaginary, a virtual line between the mount of this hinge with a hinge to the other side. So I'm going to put the camera right on the top here, and we're gonna see where that hinge is. You see, if you draw an imaginary line between these two, you can see it will be on the top of the head, in the middle of the head, top of the coils actually, roughly. All right. So you have the cylinder head, the cylinder, and part of the engine is tilted, obviously towards the back of the car. Again, it's very great. We already covered how good the 1.8 fits. You got plenty of space everywhere. Top of the engine, behind the engine. Obviously, Steve massaged his bucket because for the ease of working on the car, because more experiments and playing about it. But you really don't have to. And there's a space for everything. You can remove and put back the plenum without moving the engine whatsoever. So there's plenty of space to work on, and which makes this engine conversion actually be easier to live with than the standard engine. Everything is simpler, there's more space for everything, but again, we covered that stuff. Let me wrap this up. And, well, obviously, that too. So let's go have a look at the difference with the VR5 and VR6, because again, every time I repeat myself, if this one fits, the VR6 fits, which VR6 is on the way. Actually, Steve went to pick one up now. Now, let's start with the downside. The downside is that you probably have to either massage the bulkhead or make a small window behind it, which is, again, not drastic. Yes, it's more invasive than 1.8, but again, we've been spoiled with 1.8 because it fits in the chassis with zero modifications, nothing. In this case, there is a little bit of modification I have to do. Again, a window in the bulkhead, but this is very common procedure when people do engine swaps in them. There's nothing major, honestly. It's fine. It's very small mod you have to do, and in return you have the VR6 in the right position. By right position, what I mean, do you remember the line? Put the camera the same way. You see the line over there. So from here to there, if you draw that line, it will be roughly there. So the engine starts behind that line. This is the center of the 1.8, roughly, and the VR6 haven't even started there. So it is very much almost sitting on the back bulkhead. There's still plenty of, well, not plenty, but there's a space there. There's just not enough space to put the alternator there. So again, you could just massage the bulkhead. There's just not enough space to put the plenum there. So again, if you put a shallow one, you could just massage the bulkhead and probably will be fine. But again, I don't think it's worth it, because then working on the car, anything on the front of the engine is going to be very tight. Why? When you can just put a window behind it. So again, this is a very small downside to have loads of big benefits. Again, not a brainer. Especially if it's a common thing to do on the motors. Also, The most important thing, how much space we have for the turbo, a giant turbo. Anyways, jokes aside, well, not jokes aside, this is going to be turbo, so yeah, there you go. Now, let's come to the answering the question. Not only is the difference is between the weight, but the weight distribution. Now, dynamically speaking, okay, I am 100% convinced that the different place this engine sits from the 1.8, it will compensate for the difference of the weight. Yes, you do have a few kilograms more, absolutely, but it sits in a different place. Now, a few weeks ago, I've made a video about the two motorcycles that I have. Older one and the new one, blah, blah. But the engine sits in a completely different position. The weight is roughly the same. In the consequence, the bike rides completely different. So the dynamics of the machine, either it's a motorcycle or a car or a chassis, is completely different when you place the weight in a different place. And again, I wouldn't go to get myself, my ass, again, extremely busy, because like I said, we're doing a lot of stuff now to have everything on a shelf. I am very busy. We're working, flat out. On top of that, we're gonna do development on the VR5 and VR6 engines kit to put this in the chassis. That's a lot of work. I'm not gonna do it unless I'm 100% happy with the engine position, because we're not doing just one-off. We're doing this for, around the world. Lots of people are gonna use it, lots of people are gonna do it, let's give them the best you can have. So this is the basics. The engine position in the chassis will dictate the rest of the kit, the way the engine, the way the car will handle, and everything ahead. So this is very crucial. This is extremely important. I've seen people doing conversions on the driveways. Okay, they're not professionals, they're not just enthusiasts and doing it for hobby, all this stuff. I'm doing this for over 20 years, so it's a completely different story. I have to make sure that the basics are as good that you cannot improve them, period. And then what we're going to do with forward, again, has to be exactly the same. There's no way to have it better. It could be better in one regards, but in overall, this is the best solution. And this is how the development with us works. This engine, in this chassis, the best solutions you can have for that application. I've seen people moving these engines because I think there's two MR2s with the VR6 that I'm aware of. One is completely an A, and he had to chop the subframe, and it was an A, and it was alright, but ish. The other one is extended chassis on the back, is such extended work, is huge amount of work for resolving the problems that unfortunately he created himself, where if you actually spend some time and think about it, there is a way to put this engine in a good position that everything else is actually very simple, not invasive, not intrusive on the chassis, and the car will still handle like a factory or even better. So that's the difference. Think about this. Next time you're gonna think, oh, the engine has 10 kilograms more, the car won't handle. It's not just the weight, it's also the weight distribution. It is crucial, it's very important. Now, that being said, like I said previously, Steve and me, we probably need a woman in this workshop, because we need someone to slow us down, to say, oh, calm down, you're running too much ahead. VR6 was in our mind for a long time, and we said the work that we're gonna test it probably next year. Same stuff we said about the ESG. The ESG is already there, already going to the customer. VR6 or VR5, well, we already have one there with the ESG gearbox in the chassis. Prototype engine mounts done, nice and square, everything is going ahead. And also, poor Steve is driving my Audi today to pick up an engine from about 4.5 hours away. So he's gonna be 8-9 hours journey today. He's gonna go back tonight, drop my Audi with the engine on the back to my house, and I'm gonna bring it tomorrow in. But because I need the 1.8 back in the development mock-up jigs car, because I have to build this stuff for you, we need another frame, another chassis, a healthy chassis to put the VR6 and do development on it. So I don't have, or we don't have much more space in this workshop, around the workshop for another mr2 because they are multiplying, you know, they breed out very quickly. So I decided I'm gonna sacrifice myself. This is a very sad moment. I'm gonna sacrifice myself and use my own car, my frog, to make the development. And the sacrifice will be to work on my car, fit the vr6 with a turbo kit on it, and develop all the fitment and make, you know, one of the mr2s we have here very, very fast. I know it's a very sad moment, but this is happening. You know what I mean. Let's not forget about one thing. mr2 is where everything started. This thing has a K24, which I didn't like it, and because I didn't like the kit came from, you know, the engine mounts and all the stuff you have to do to fit one and have it working and everything working as it should be. It's like way too much money. This doesn't make any sense. I'm not having this. Let's put something else. And we had 1.9 TDI lying in the workshop. Like, you know what? I wonder if one of these fits. It's completely different, but you wonder if it fits. So we fit it on. Turned out to be very great. Turned out to be extremely fun. Had it for some time, and then we went forward because we said, okay, this has a future. Steve tested my car. He fell in love. He sold his other car he had. He bought himself an mr2, and then we fitted 1.8 in his car, and everything started. So this has been going on for about a couple of years, all development. So yeah, but everything started with the infamous Frog, my first mr2, which obviously needs roof changing. But the car is very clean. This is one of the cleanest mr2s we ever had. It's very clean. Apart the subframe. Yesterday I've seen Andrew cleaned my engine bay, I think. At least the subframe. Top here as well. Oh. What is that? Shit. That's all scratched. I think he wanted to do something good and clean some moss here or whatever that was staying here for all this time, but he actually scratched the paint, like badly. Good job this is my car, not a customer's. Andrew is a friend of ours. Well, mine, very old friend, one of my best friends. But he's very special. 9 on 10 times he does help you out. But his help sometimes comes with, let's call it, side effects. Oh well. Anyways, I think he's coming over now because I need him to give me a hand to push the frog in the workshop. We're gonna put it here where these engines are, roughly here. Because we don't use this space. Actually, we use it for all this mess we creating. So it's time to actually tidy up the workshop. We're gonna put more shelves for more products. Another development car is gonna be right in the middle here. And tomorrow, if everything goes fine, I'm gonna make another quick video, quick update, which is gonna be the first one of the updates on the mr2 vr6 development and the kit and all the stuff, which I think that's gonna progress very quickly because I am excited and motivated by my sacrifice of fitting the vr6 turbo engine in my own mr2. So I suspect that the works they're gonna be carried out fairly quickly, at least one day a week. So I think the series of daily workshop stuff, we're going to separate into categories. I think is a good idea, maybe not. Keep you updated of what's going on in the workshop, you know, how much stock we have, what we're selling, what we're doing with the different customers, the cars we built, and then the mr2 VR5 and VR6. Because with those VR5 and VR6, there is going to be a lot going on during this winter. I can promise you that, because that VR5 is a good engine. We haven't bought a broken engine as a fitment trial. That is a good working engine, or it's supposed to be when we bought it, and we are gonna use it. So if that's gonna be in use, the VR6 is gonna go in my mr2 and it's gonna be in use. I'm not gonna put any spoiler rates or anything, you're gonna find out very quickly. So I think this is the end of good news. Another good news is, like we said, the stock is happening. Little delay because again I had to fit that engine in the chassis, so I had to spend a few days there, but now I'm resuming making the stock. So the era of you ordering the stuff and we actually produce it for you is coming to an end. from a couple of weeks from now is going to be more like, you want it, you click it, you buy it, we send it the next day or very quickly, but because everything is on the shelf available. So that's it. Also Steve's car, I promise him I'm going to make him all the boost pipes like the one over there you see, because this car has to be tidy now. He's using some blink now, end of the era of development and testing, because we've done all of that. Now we can assemble nicely. I don't want him to use the boost pipes with hundreds of silicone joiners like he did before, not because it doesn't work, because it works. His stuff always worked. But you know, now we want it to work, but also be nice and tidy, nice and clean. You know, because why not? I mean, we're working together. It's like, why you should use all of this stuff when I can make him some nice boost pipes. Same way I would do for a custom on a custom setup. So let's treat him with some shiny bits and some blink. Next week this has to hit the road again, I think. So yeah, we're gonna do a lot of stuff. That engine there, you see the blue engine, this is no mock-up engine, it's a show engine. We make a decision to change the block and actually put a healthy block on it, which we have, two of them there. Put a fuel tank and everything, and actually be able to fire up and run it and test all the sensors. The reason I'm saying this is not a quick information, I want to do it because we were contemplating with Steve to actually producing these wiring looms. I keep repeating myself, I don't like making them, I don't like this, I don't like that. That is partially true, but also it's true that if I make them like this, nice and clean, actually I can even be cleaner, I don't dislike it. And I kind of find a way to do it quicker and neater. And this last one didn't have such a bad effect on me anymore, so I was like, maybe we can make it. So we're finding a way to be able to produce them for you, because what we find out that many people actually have issues with the wiring loom. No matter if I say, okay, I can supply you with the wiring, with the pinout or the diagram or instructions how to do it, 9 people on 10 they're still scared of doing that. And we thought, okay, if you're not doing that, you can give instructions to the electrician. But then we run through the case scenarios. It's like, okay, if someone gives instructions to the electrician, you have to supply them 3 wiring looms, because Volkswagen actually is 2 parts, Toyota is 1, to make a hybrid. And I know how long it's going to take if you don't know what you're doing just with the instructions. And I thought, well, that will cost the customer much, much more money than we will be happy to do these wiring looms for, because we know them. So we're finding a way to actually do it. Don't hold me on my word. We'll see. We're in the process of designing and doing it, but there is a chance we could make them. But also, if I make the wiring looms, we have to be able to test the wiring looms, because remember, this stuff is not new. Okay, these wires I found actually in this wiring, 2 wires that are actually split. Someone used a knife to, I don't know what to, but 2 wires they sliced. I don't use a knife to remove the insulation. I never did, because I know the dangers of that. But it already happened. So when I'm building the wiring loom, before insulating, I want to test it. I can't put it in the car. So we're going to have a test station, a running engine with all the sensors in, with the diagnostics poles in. I can run it, I can fire up, I can diagnose the car, I can check all the sensors, and everything returns healthy. That wiring loom can go to the customer. That's the only way I'm 100% sure that everything works as it should be. So when you plug it in, you have no problems. And again, if you come back to me, it's like, oh, it doesn't start. I am 100% sure, and you are 100% sure that you're doing something wrong, not the stuff you fitted. So that's not the good news. I think we'll see. Anyways, see you soon. And yes, we probably have to sell this car at this point, because it's working as a shelf for parts, as a dust collector, and we need more space. So anyways, I will see you tomorrow, I guess.